We got the building approval. It's been done. We received the letter just yesterday. And in this video, we're going to be giving you guys an update on our raise and build project. I'm going to be sharing with you where our numbers are up to in terms of the quotes and the estimates we've been receiving and how much we actually think it's going to cost to do our raise and build. We're planning on starting sometime between August and October with the raise, and then we expect it to take about 3 to 6 months to get to lockup. So we're going to break down the numbers today. I'm going to show you the building approval and talk you through the process. So in our previous videos, we talked through the house plans, we talked about the development application and how we got our DA. But in this video, we're going to be talking about the building approval and our current cost update in terms of the project. So as you can see on screen here, this is the email we got from Tina just the other day. We're really excited that we've got our building approval, and this is what we received. So good afternoon, Luke. Building approval has been completed for our house here in Brisbane. Please see the following documents attached. So we got a decision notice from our building certifier. We've got over 145 pages of approved documents. So that includes the structural work in terms of our engineering, the pool, the slab for the pool, the house plans, the gutters, the downpipes, all those things are in those approved documents. We've got a final document checklist, which I will show you guys in terms of what we need to provide our building certifier. We've got a pool fencing advice as to what we need in terms of our swimming pool to make sure we've got the right temporary fencing, to make sure if there's some water in the pool, what is required in terms of the rules there. And then we've got an acknowledgement form. So I need to let our building certifier, Kim from KP Approvals, know that we understand the documents they've given us and we're ready to go ahead with our raise and build. So my plan is to complete the documents, the acknowledgement form, and send it back to Kim really soon. And Tina and the team at KP Building Approvals. And we've been really easy working with these guys. Any questions we've had throughout this process so far, we can reach out to our building certifier, ask them, and then let us know what documents and what things need to happen at what periods of time. So this document on screen is part of the decision notice. And these are some of the key documents that have been approved by Kim as our building certifier. So we've got the site plans, the architectural plans, the dwelling architectural, the pools, the structurals by Cornell engineers, the structure for the actual pool itself, and then the slabs separately. So we had to get engineering for both the house, the pool, and the pool slab separately. So those were 3 different sets of structural engineering. We've also had a soil test and an energy efficiency report and Form 15 done for that as well in terms of the property. So this is where it gets interesting. So we've got our building approval. And similar to our DA, it's been approved for 24 months. Now, your owner builder license from memory is about 6 years, but in terms of our development application and our building approval, both of those are for 24 months. So we better get cracking. We're planning on starting in the next 3 to 6 months, and we don't want to let too much time waste because I know projects can blow out. And so we're planning on starting somewhere between August to October with a view to move back in after about 3 to 6 months. We're probably going to move out into a lease, or we're going to rent a property for about 6 months. We potentially could move into one of our investment properties, but we're going to discuss that with the tenants. We might even sell that property. We're going to, weigh that up as we go along. So on screen here, you can see this is the existing house we're in. So if you want to, you can actually go back, and Emily and I have shot a video talking about our old and our new floor plan. But this is the old floor plan, which you can see in the bottom right corner has been approved by KP Building Approvals. This is the demo floor plan on screen. So this is the current floor that we're on, and all the walls are pretty much being knocked out towards the back of the property to create an open plan living and kitchen and dining space. And we're putting in bifold doors. So this is what we're changing upstairs in terms of this current floor plan. That's what I was talking about in terms of that simple open living space. We're adding a study for purpose property and for me to shoot these videos in. And we're keeping the current bedroom and bathroom up here. So our plan is to do a lot of the work upstairs first and get downstairs to lock up, then get our building approval from KP Building Approvals, so then we can do the remainder of the fit out slowly over time. So when you're doing a project like this, when it comes to a raise and build, you really only need certification for those major works, for the building itself, rather than the painting and the flooring and the tiling and things like that. So how about I show you exactly what we need to provide in terms of the documentation when it comes to passing our building certification. So on screen here, this is a detailed checklist that has been provided by our building certifiers, and it's going to make our lives a whole lot easier. So if you're doing your own project, this is what you probably need to look at. You can see here that KP Building Approvals is going to check the site conditions, look at our temporary fencing, and do a final inspection. We need our engineers to come out and have a look before we concrete. So they're going to look at the footings and the piers and the slab concrete reinforcing. So that's the rebar. They're going to check all of that before we do the concrete pour. The same here for the masonry core fill. So if you're filling cinder blocks, things like that, and the framing. So before we put up sheets, we need to get the framing checked by an engineer to make sure that the bracing's correct. Now we can do that in hand with our chippy/builders, and we're going to show you the pricing that we're looking at for those guys as well. Then we also need to do a survey set out. So that's our lot, the heights as well. So making sure we're getting the right building height in terms of the roof line, the top floor and the bottom floor. We also need to look at the wet areas, the energy efficiency, termite, roofing, stormwater, surface and subsoil drainage, balustrades, pool, and a declaration of all the work being completed. Now there's a bunch of other things as well that we need to certify. So you've got smoke alarms, ventilation, windows, showers, roof trusses, asbestos, electrical work, and pool fencing. So that is a massive list, and you can take your time if you really want to go through each of those items individually and come up with your own mock checklist if you're looking at doing a raise and build. So I've written this down on a notepad and I've got everything listed, and I know what I need to do, I know what the building certifier is going to do, and I know what the engineer is going to be looking for. Now we need to submit forms to the QBCC as part of the work. So we need to get Form 4s, Form 14s, and all the numbers go on depending on what you're certifying or what's being written up. But one of the great things about being an owner builder is you can do statutory declarations for some of these items. So let me show you those right now. So note that an owner builder is permitted to complete the following under their owner builder permit. So I myself can make a declaration that we've done the waterproofing correctly. Insulation's been installed, roofing materials and fixings are correct, glazing the windows and shower installation, balustrades and barrier installation, and the declaration of wholly completed work. So when it comes to the building itself, you as an owner builder, if you're looking to do an owner builder project, can actually certify and make statutory declarations on some of these items. Now, in terms of the engineering or what the certifier needs to check, you need to make sure that you don't do that concrete pour too early without having the footings checked. That would be a major issue. Or you haven't had your final inspections done by your building certifier. So you need to make sure that you're ticking those things off with the right people. So before we look at the numbers and where we're sitting in terms of our total budget for the raise and build, and are we going to actually make any money or equity on this project, what's been involved so far to get here? So the way Emily and I started out is we went to designer planning, which are based in Albion on the north side of Brisbane, and they helped us formulate our plans. Emily and I had probably taken 10, 20 drawings of our own drawings to try and come up with the right plans for us. Then we sat down with Danny and the team at designer planning on the north side of Brisbane. Note that this isn't sponsored, and we actually just recommend these guys based off our experience with them. So we sat down with designer planning, we drew out our plans, formalized them, and then we had a couple of variations because, we were missing smoke alarms from the plans, or we need to fix some of the windows, or we needed to update the gutters and downpipes. So working through that with our town planner and our building certifier and our designers, we were able to get the right plans to pass our DA. So Emily and I worked with Denise from Planning Insights, Danny from Designer Planning, and Kim from KP Building Approvals. Now, Denise really helped us get our development application across the line. We had to make sure that we had a driveway in our plans so we could actually use the curb. Now, when we went to council, we had a couple of overlays which were on our plans. We're on a small lot overlay. So our lot is less than 450 square meters. So there's different rules when you're on a smaller size lot. Another set of rules that we had to abide by were character overlay. So we're in a 1920s Triple Gable Queenslander, and we want to keep this place in terms of its old facade, but council also wants to make sure that you're doing the right thing and you're keeping the look and the feel of the character overlay. So we're not really changing much of our frontage. We're raising up and we're using similar cladding on the lower level. And we really like restoring and renovating these older homes. So this is something Emily and I are passionate about. We love the look of this home. We love the triple gables. We are modernizing the back with some bifolds and adding a swimming pool. But all in all, we had to keep in the character overlay. And that was part of the development application that we're doing with council. The third and final part of that triangle that we've been talking about between the design, the development application, the third part is that building certification. So that's your building approval. And that's what we've gone through today. So we've had those 5 key items and we've got our plans approved and we've got our checklist in terms of who we need and when we need them in terms of certification. So now let's get to the exciting update and look at what the numbers are. Now we've got all our quotes in, and I'll talk you through our timeline to get started with our project and start breaking ground. So on screen, you can see our full estimate, quotes, and paid to date list. So far, to get to this point where we've got our DA and we've got our building approval, we've spent $20,280.89. And these are all the people that we've used throughout the process. I can say we definitely recommend Cornell Engineers, KP Approvals, Planning Insights, and Designer Planning. Those are all companies that we would highly recommend, and again, not sponsored. But we've had a great experience so far in formulating our plans and coming up with our approach to get our build underway. The total amount we think our project is going to cost to get to lockup and finished and complete is $466,526. Now that might sound like a stack load of money, and I really think that is a lot of money. But the key items that we firmed up in terms of pricing come around these 5 areas. So we've got tonks from restumping. So we're looking to lock in Jason tonks. We had a chat with probably 3 to 5 house raisers, and we got a range of quotes between say 35K and 50K for the raise. But Jason can actually do both the concreting and the raise. And so for 110,000, we can get the house lifted and we can get the slab poured for the house and the pool slab poured as well. So we're looking to lock in our timing with Jason somewhere between August to October. We've got our quote for our plumbing around 15 grand plus GST. That includes our disconnect and our reconnect and our replumb up. Obviously, that's just an estimate as well. We've also estimated 15K from Bryson for Wire Wizard. Now, it might be more or less, but this is about a ballpark for each of these things. We've got $50,000 for the pool. Now, the pool is a really interesting one because we've got 3 different options when it comes to our swimming pool. We could actually lift the pool up over our roofline and drop it in the backyard, which is the most expensive option. That's about 15K to lock up the street, have a road closure, lift the pool, which is about 11 ton from memory, and pull it all the way over the house and drop it on the other side. Hopefully not drop it, but place it on the other side. The other 2 options we have are to go under the house. So when they lift it up, they drive the pool back through with a truck. We had a chat with Jason from Tonks Restumping, and that didn't seem like the safest or the best option because you need a decent amount of clearance. And the third option is actually to go down the side of the property. So our neighbours are, just have a small Queenslander as well on one side of us and a renovated Queenslander on the other. Now, on the lower side, where the older Queenslander is, we can probably knock down the fence, and there's only about, say, a foot to a foot and a half fall between the 2 properties. So we're looking at using universal cranes. Those guys can put some rubber mats. They can then back a truck down because they've used those rubber mats to balance out the fall in the land. And then they can back the truck up, take a crane and lift the pool onto the slab. So we're going to go ahead with that option. We need to chat with the neighbours, make sure they're happy for us to do that. We're proposing that we'll pay for a brand new fence down that side of the property. And so we'll do that end to end once the pool has been put in place. But we're really excited to have a swimming pool up here in Brisbane. We think Asa is going to love it and our future kids will love it as well. So, we think it's not going to be a cheap venture and about 50 grand to do all of that, but we also think it's going to be worth it. And for this type of home, which is very owner-occupier appealing and is very blue chip in terms of its location within 5Ks of Brisbane CBD, we think it's money well spent for us. Now, the final 2 key items on our list are our chippy to get us to lock up and M's fit out, which is our own budget for couches and dishwashers and fridges and all those types of things that will go into the property, as well as paint and some flooring and things like that. But we've had a chat with 3 different chippies or builders. We had a chat with Nathan, Mayo, and Andrew, and we're looking at around $150,000 to get us to lock up with our chippies. That would include plastering downstairs, completely finishing the upstairs with black butt timber floors throughout, all the walls removed, the framing done upstairs, the upstairs sheeted. I'll be doing the painting upstairs. So that would really get us upstairs completed and downstairs largely completed with the plaster on the walls. Now, I would look to finish off the remainder myself to save us again money, and we've got that extra 100 grand for our remaining fit out at the end once all the rest is finished. So to get us to lock up, we're looking at $361,000, which is a lot of money, and that's why we're looking at finishing off our flip project, which you haven't seen yet, but we'll be starting soon. So the process from here is we're planning on starting somewhere between August to October 2023 and hoping to move back in sometime around Christmas, which is probably unlikely, but say by Easter the next year. So say we did start in September, by March, March 2024, we'd ideally be looking to move back into the home with the upstairs fully completed. I'll be looking to fit out the studio, set up the new microphones, get a new background, all those types of things. Maybe have a couch and set up the space as I'd really like it. And then we look to slowly finish off the downstairs ourselves over time. As you can see, we're looking somewhere between $350,000 to $500,000. And this is a lot of money, but we're adding 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, doing a brand new kitchen, having 2 back decks and a swimming pool. So there's a lot of work involved, but we're looking to save as much money as possible along the way. We had some initial chats with some builders and we were looking somewhere between $800,000 to $1 million to get something similar if we were to hand this over to a builder. So we're probably saving around 50%. I mean, we couldn't have afforded $1 million anyway. That would have been too much money for us, to be perfectly honest. So I think we're finding the right balance in terms of work that we're taking on, as well as using our Sparky, plumbers, house raisers, chippies, finding the right people to work with to get us to that lockup phase. So we're super excited. We've got our building approval. We've got our better quote in terms of better estimates in terms of where we think we're going to land price-wise. So I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments below, and go back and watch the rest of this Triple Gable Queenslander series if you haven't seen our initial renovations on this property, or you want to see the house plans and our current budget and all those other things we've been talking about. So thanks for sticking around. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.